In the idyllic town of Willowbrook, Jake and Emily had been close friends since kindergarten. They bonded over their shared love for art and creativity, spending countless hours drawing, painting, and creating stories together. Their favorite spot was a hidden treehouse nestled among the branches of a towering oak in Emily's backyard. Now 16 years old, Jake and Emily still cherished the memories of their childhood adventures. One sunny afternoon, they decided to revisit their beloved treehouse after school. As they climbed up, they found their old drawings and art supplies, a testament to their shared passion. "Jake, look at this," Emily said, holding up a drawing of a ballerina pirouetting gracefully across the page. "I can't believe I drew this when I was 10. I still dream of becoming a professional dancer." Jake smiled, admiring her drawing. "You will, Em. You're an amazing dancer already." "Thanks, Jake." Emily beamed. "What about you? What do you want to be when you grow up?" Jake hesitated for a moment before answering. "I'm not exactly sure, but I've been really into robotics lately." "Maybe something related to that?" Emily's eyes lit up with excitement. "That's awesome, Jake. You're so good at problem solving and building things. I know you'll do something great." As they sat there reminiscing about their childhood, they couldn't help but feel the changes high school had brought. They were growing up, and their dreams and aspirations were taking them in different directions. Little did they know how much their friendship would be tested in the coming years, and how Jake's secret feelings for Emily would ultimately shape their future. As the new school year began, Jake and Emily found themselves adjusting to the whirlwind of high school life. They were both busy with their own interests, and their once inseparable friendship started to drift apart. Emily's talent and dedication to dancing had earned her a spot in the prestigious Willowbrook Dance Academy, where she spent most of her afternoons practicing and perfecting her craft. Her graceful performances and friendly demeanor made her popular among her classmates, and she quickly became a well-known figure in school. Meanwhile, Jake discovered a passion for robotics and joined the school's robotics club. He spent hours after school tinkering with circuit boards, coding, and assembling mechanical marvels with his new friends. The club provided Jake with a sense of belonging and camaraderie, but he couldn't help but feel a pang of loneliness every time he saw Emily laughing with her dance friends or talking to the school's star athlete, Dylan. One day, while walking to the robotics club meeting, Jake overheard Emily talking with her friends. "I can't believe I got the lead role in the school's production of Romeo and Juliet," Emily exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Her friends congratulated her, and one of them asked, "Who do you think will play Romeo?" Emily shrugged. "I'm not sure, but I heard Dylan might be auditioning." Jake felt his heart sink at the mention of Dylan's name. He knew he could never compete with someone so popular and confident. As he continued on to the robotics club, he made a silent promise to himself. He would find a way to get closer to Emily and somehow make her notice him. He missed their friendship and longed for more, even though the thought of confessing his feelings terrified him. As the weeks went by, Jake couldn't shake the idea of Emily and Dylan performing together on stage, and it gnawed at him relentlessly. Then, one day, as he passed by the drama club's announcement board, an idea struck him. If he couldn't be Emily's Romeo, he could at least be a part of the production and be close to her in some way. With a determined resolve, Jake signed up as a stagehand, embarking on a journey that would change his life and bring him closer to the girl he had admired for so long. Little did he know that fate had other plans in store for him. As Jake immersed himself in the world of theater, he couldn't help but watch Emily from the sidelines with a mixture of admiration and longing. She was a natural on stage, and her passion for dancing translated beautifully into her acting. Seeing her laugh and interact with her fellow cast members, especially Dylan, filled Jake with both envy and a growing sense of despair. During rehearsals, Jake worked diligently as a stagehand, moving sets and adjusting lights, always keeping an eye on Emily. He longed for a chance to talk to her, but his shyness and fear of rejection held him back. His secret crush on Emily consumed him, yet she remained blissfully unaware of his feelings. One day, while Jake was working behind the scenes, he overheard a conversation between Emily and one of her friends. "I just don't know if Dylan is really the right guy for me," Emily confided. "He's so focused on sports, and I'm not sure he's genuinely interested in my dreams." Her friend reassured her, "Maybe you just need to give him a chance, Em. Who knows? You two could be the perfect couple, just like Romeo and Juliet." Jake's heart clenched at the thought of Emily and Dylan becoming closer, and he knew he had to do something to make her see him differently. But what could he, a shy and introverted stagehand, do to capture the attention of someone as talented and popular as Emily? As the weeks went by, Jake struggled to find a way to make his presence known. He tried to be more outgoing and engaged with the theater crew, but every time he came close to talking to Emily, his courage faltered and he retreated back into the shadows. Then, during one fateful rehearsal, the lead actor playing Romeo fell ill with a high fever, leaving the director in a panic to find a replacement. As the cast and crew scrambled to find a solution, Jake's heart raced with a mix of dread and excitement. Could this be his chance to finally step out of the shadows and be noticed by Emily? The director, noticing Jake's intense gaze, approached him with an unexpected proposal. "Jake, I know you've been working diligently behind the scenes, but I've also seen how much you've been paying attention to the rehearsals. Do you think you could step in and play Romeo temporarily?" Jake's eyes widened in surprise, but he knew this was the opportunity he had been waiting for. Despite his fears, he nodded and accepted the challenge. As he stepped onto the stage to rehearse with Emily, he felt a surge of determination to prove himself, not only to her but also to himself. Little did he know, this unexpected turn of events would bring them closer than ever before and change the course of their lives forever. With his newfound role as Romeo, Jake threw himself into learning lines and practicing the scenes. His initial discomfort and stage fright gradually gave way to a sense of purpose and confidence he had never experienced before. As he spent more time with Emily, he could feel their old friendship rekindling, but the longing in his heart remained unspoken. Emily, on the other hand, was surprised by Jake's sudden transformation. As they rehearsed together, she found herself admiring his dedication and the subtle nuances he brought to the character of Romeo. She couldn't help but wonder what had sparked this change in her childhood friend. During a break in rehearsal one day, Emily approached Jake with a warm smile. "You know, Jake, you've been doing an amazing job as Romeo. I never knew you had it in you." Jake felt his cheeks flush with both pride and embarrassment. "Thanks, Emily. I didn't know I had it in me either. I wanted to be a part of something that meant so much to you." Emily's eyes softened, touched by his words. "I'm glad you joined the production. It's been really nice spending time with you again, just like old times." As they continued to rehearse together, Jake and Emily found themselves growing closer, sharing laughs and inside jokes. They reconnected over their shared love for art and creativity, and Jake felt his courage growing with each passing day. The thought of revealing his true feelings for Emily still terrified him, but he knew he couldn't let the opportunity slip away. With the final performance approaching, Jake decided to muster all his courage and make a grand gesture that would show Emily how much she truly meant to him. One evening after rehearsal, Jake stayed late in the theater, working on a special surprise for Emily. He spent hours meticulously painting a beautiful backdrop of a moonlit night, reminiscent of their childhood days spent in the treehouse. He hoped that when Emily saw it, she would remember the deep bond they shared and perhaps see him in a new light. The day of the final performance arrived, and the entire cast and crew buzzed with excitement and anticipation. As Jake prepared to take the stage as Romeo, he couldn't help but feel a mix of exhilaration and fear. He knew that tonight would change everything between him and Emily, for better or for worse. As the curtain rose, Jake and Emily delivered a performance that left the audience spellbound. Their chemistry on stage was palpable, and it seemed as if the whole world had faded away, leaving only the two of them under the soft glow of the moonlit backdrop. When the final scene arrived, Jake mustered every ounce of courage he had and poured his heart into the lines, hoping that Emily would understand the depth of his feelings for her. As the curtain fell and the audience erupted into applause, Jake knew that he had given it his all. With his heart pounding in his chest, he decided that the time had come to reveal his true feelings to Emily, no matter the outcome. He could no longer hide in the shadows, and he owed it to himself to be honest with her. Backstage, as the cast and crew celebrated their successful performance, Jake found Emily surrounded by her friends and admirers. He took a deep breath and approached her, his hands trembling with nerves. "Emily, can I talk to you for a moment?" he asked, his voice barely audible over the clamor of the crowd. She turned to face him, her eyes sparkling with excitement from their performance. "Of course, Jake. What's up?" Jake led her away from the noise and towards the moonlit backdrop he had painted. As they stood beneath the painted moon, he took another deep breath and looked into her eyes. "Emily, I need to tell you something," he began, his voice shaking. "I've had feelings for you for a long time, and I've been too scared to tell you. But after tonight, I realized that I can't keep hiding in the shadows. You mean the world to me, and I would do anything to make you happy." Emily's eyes widened with surprise, and for a moment, she was speechless. As she looked into Jake's earnest eyes, she felt a surge of emotions that she couldn't quite explain. In that instant, under the moonlit sky, something shifted between them, opening the door to a future neither of them could have ever imagined. As Emily stood there, processing Jake's heartfelt confession, she couldn't help but feel a mixture of surprise, confusion, and a warmth that she hadn't felt in a long time. The connection they had rekindled during the play had stirred something within her, but she hadn't been able to pinpoint what it was until now. "Jake, Emily hesitated, searching for the right words. "I never knew you felt that way about me. I've been so focused on dancing and trying to figure out who I am that I didn't realize what was right in front of me." Jake held his breath, his heart pounding with anticipation. "So, what are you saying, Emily?" Emily looked at him with a soft smile. "I'm saying that I want to give us a chance. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know that I care about you, Jake, and I want to see where this can go." A wave of relief washed over Jake, and he couldn't help but grin from ear to ear. "I'm so glad you feel that way, Emily. I promise I'll do everything I can to make you happy." As they embraced under the moonlit backdrop, the world around them seemed to fade away. They had taken a leap of faith, stepping out of their comfort zones and embracing the unexpected. Over the next few weeks, Jake and Emily navigated their newfound relationship with a mix of excitement and nervousness. As they spent more time together outside of the theater, they discovered new facets of each other's personalities and interests that had been hidden during their years apart. They continued to bond over their shared love for art, and Jake even introduced Emily to the world of robotics, where she marveled at his creativity and skill. Meanwhile, their friends and classmates watched in surprise as the once shy stagehand and the talented dancer became inseparable. While some were skeptical of their sudden romance, others couldn't help but be touched by the depth of their connection. As the school year progressed, Jake and Emily faced challenges and growing pains in their relationship. They struggled to balance their individual dreams and aspirations with their commitment to each other. But through it all, their love continued to grow stronger, rooted in the deep friendship that had brought them together in the first place. One evening, while sitting in their childhood treehouse, Emily turned to Jake with a thoughtful expression. "You know, Jake, our story is a bit like Romeo and Juliet. We were both so caught up in our own worlds that we almost missed out on something beautiful." Jake smiled, taking her hand in his. "But unlike Romeo and Juliet, our story has a happy ending." As they gazed out at the stars above, the memories of their past and the promise of their future intertwined, creating a tapestry of love and friendship that would guide them through the trials and triumphs of life. They knew that no matter what challenges they faced, they could overcome them together, hand in hand. As their senior year approached, Jake and Emily faced the daunting prospect of college applications and decisions about their futures. They knew that the next chapter of their lives might take them in different directions, but they were determined to support and encourage each other's dreams, no matter the distance. Emily's talent and hard work paid off when she received a scholarship to a prestigious dance conservatory in New York City. Overwhelmed with excitement and gratitude, she shared the news with Jake, who couldn't be prouder of her. "Emily, this is amazing. You deserve this opportunity more than anyone I know," Jake said, his eyes filled with admiration. "Thank you, Jake," Emily replied, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "But what about us? What about our relationship?" Jake reached out and held her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "We'll make it work, Emily. We've overcome so many obstacles together already. As long as we stay committed to each other, we can handle anything." With Jake's support, Emily made the decision to accept the scholarship and pursue her dream of becoming a professional dancer. Meanwhile, Jake received an offer to study robotics and engineering at a respected university on the West Coast. Though the distance between them would be significant, they were determined to maintain their relationship and grow together, even while pursuing their individual goals. As the day of their high school graduation arrived, Jake and Emily stood side by side in their caps and gowns, filled with a mix of nostalgia and anticipation for the journey ahead. As they listened to the valedictorian speech, they couldn't help but reflect on how much they had grown and changed over the past few years, both as individuals and as a couple. After the ceremony, they celebrated with their friends and families, sharing hugs, laughter, and tears. As the sun began to set, Jake led Emily to the treehouse one last time before they would leave for college. Surrounded by the familiar walls that held so many cherished memories, they made a pact to support and love each other, no matter where life took them. We may be heading to opposite sides of the country, but our hearts will always be together, Jake whispered, his eyes glistening with emotion. Emily nodded, her voice choked with tears. I love you, Jake. And I know that no matter what happens, we'll find our way back to each other. As they held each other under the fading light, they knew that their love had been forged through friendship, perseverance, and a shared belief in the power of dreams. Though the future was uncertain, they were confident that their love would endure, guiding them through the challenges and triumphs that lay ahead. As Jake and Emily embarked on their separate journeys, their love served as a beacon of hope and a reminder of the strength they had found in each other. And though they would face new challenges and obstacles in the years to come, they knew that together they could overcome anything life had in store.